everything's working. Live from BlackRock's solar-powered ESG VCR.
Oh,
good for them.
School.
Yeah.
And
it's an
new school.
All new terrific Tuesday edition of Business Pants, joined by analyst hole Matt Muscardi. On today's new Duncan Impact Investment Cruller called September 30th, 2025, The Good Game.
How many people know what a cruller is anymore?
I was thinking that ages me, right?
Isn't that like a 1940s
No one knows what it is.
thing?
No one buys it. Yeah.
I used to love crullers.
I did too.
I was a cruller guy.
Yeah. But you wouldn't buy one now, admit it.
I would, and dunk it in my coffee the
Really?
way it's supposed to be done. Do you know the original Dunkin' Donuts
Yeah.
had a tab on them so you could hold it while you dunked it?
Right.
They had
but
like a little donut tab.
But there is something at Dunkin' called like a donut stick, I think. But the cruller is different because it has those weird.
Twisty
it's
and-
twisty, and airy, and yeah.
It's really good, is what it is.
Our show today is being sponsored by FreeFloatAnalytics.com, the only platform measuring board power connections and performance for free. Why is it free?
Hey, excellent question. Somebody needs to call them and tell them they should be charging because I feel like people would pay.
But then again, it should be free. So it's kind of,
no. I feel like no one would pay because they don't care about boards of directors.
Oh,
rendering our lives
well,
meaningless.
if you do, or if you know a student who is, I don't know, writing a report about corporate malfeasance, go to our website and use it for free. Let them use it for free. All right. The Good Game. This is how the Good Game works quickly. I'm glad it came this week. It's been a struggle. So I find headlines over the past few weeks that make me feel good, and then I run them through our pundit machine, Matt Muscardi, who tells me on a scale from 1 to 10 if they're actually good or not.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
I will tell you the real thing. Yeah.
Arbiter of truth. I broke them up into categories. Let's start with some tech stuff. Hot off the presses, California's Governor Gavin Newsom signed major AI safety law.
I like that.
I'll tell you a little bit about it.
Yeah, I'm only supposed to rate the headline.
You are, but I think this is worth giving you a little bit of notes.
Give me a thing.
The Transparency and Frontier Artificial Intelligence Act. I don't like the sound of that, but whatever.
They didn't do that one for the acronym because that would be TIFA.
Requires the most advanced AI companies to report safety protocols used in building their technologies and forces the companies to report the greatest risks posed by their technologies. The bill also strengthens whistleblower protections for employees who warn the public about potential dangers for the technology poses. What do you think? I mean, there's more to it, but those are the headlines.
If we're honest, though, Sam Altman says every single day how he's afraid of something.
He is. So he's worried.
He's like
unlike his peers. He's the one who's kind of like, yeah, I realize this is bad for humanity, but we're still gonna forge ahead.
I have like an insider. I got an insider scoop of somebody who's met and talked to Sam Altman and said that he is literally. He's like, they described him as Elizabeth Holmes, only smart enough to lie better. That's how they described him.
Yeah. Well, he's not in jail yet.
Because he isn't in jail yet.
Well, this is the way this guy operates. He constantly warns us that it could be trouble. I don't know, maybe. He's like, now his new line is, I understand why you're worried, right? But yet at the same time, just this week he announced they're building a new data center in Texas that's going to use as much power as the entire city of New York, which is
good. Yeah,
8 million people live there, and I don't know how many more millions come into work there. I mean, that's a lot of effing power.
Story just broke today that electricity prices are going up as much as 230%.
He's not slowing down.
And it's because of AI using the electricity.
He understands why we're worried, but he's not going to slow down.
Of course, you're not going to slow down.
All right, what do you think?
You're making
Newsom's
too
trying.
much money.
Give me a score.
I have to give it like at least a 9, and I have to give it a 9 because someone did a thing, right? Like, and it's the state that matters because this is where AI is being developed. So
someone did a thing is important.
I wished the law that they passed was AI should not exist. Stop making it. But
Yeah.
I feel like that's an unrealistic law at this point. So I'm glad they did a thing.
How about this next weird one? The headline is, could a chatbot replace your best friend at work? Okay. And I thought that was stupid until I looked. This is from Fast Company. Until I looked at the data that from a study from KPMG. According to the study, they surveyed. They said that almost 99%. Is this possible? Almost 99% of workers that they polled would be open to the idea of an AI chatbot assuming the role of close friend at work. 99% of people want AI to be their new friend at work?
Because I feel like that's a trick question then. Like, did they word it like, would you talk to an AI and trust them at work?
Well,
and then because that doesn't make any sense to me.
Part of the study also reveals that 45% of workers reported feelings of loneliness at work. So, right?
You know what you need to do if you want to feel less lonely at work?
What?
Put away your fucking phones and get up.
Take your headphones off.
And take your headphones off.
Yeah.
Stand up from your computer. Go to the break room and play a game of foosball or ping pong or get a coffee. Go for a walk with a colleague.
I will tell you this.
Sad anymore.
In the MSCI Portland office, I was probably the only dude who didn't ever wear headphones while I worked, and it did make me talk more and wander around more and talk to people, and maybe I annoyed the hell out of everyone.
Yeah,
but I think it did help me socially because I don't know, I just needed. I wasn't listening to podcasts or whatever people listen to. I actually needed a little bit of interaction.
I listened to music, but I often had my headphones off, and I would ask everyone around, like, oh, what are you doing? In fact, I asked one of my colleagues what they were doing for, I think it was Thanksgiving. I was like, oh, you got plans for the holidays? And they said, that's personal. I really? Said, oh, I was just making conversation. You don't have to tell me. And they were like, I'm not going to.
We're on a tangent here. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I don't know.
What if you had asked? It does make me wonder, though. What if you asked AI what it was doing for Thanksgiving? What do you think it would say?
Oh, I was probably sitting contemplating how to carve you up like a turkey.
Okay. What do you think about this? Is this good? And I don't know how you want to handle this. You can answer this if it's good just in general for humanity, or how about the fact that half the workers feel lonely?
I think it's horrible. Look, I get that you're lonely, but you're like loneliness is. I think actually we've been conditioned to think that things are going to come to us rather than we have to put in some effort to make them happen. And so we're conditioned to be lonely because friends aren't happening. But I tell this to my kids, like, you want friends, you have to like go to places where people are.
Oh, I thought you were going to say go to
the lunchroom.
I thought you were going to say go to openai.com.
Punch a kid in the face in recess. Oh. I don't know. Like you don't make a friend sitting there.
Give me a score.
That's a 0. I hate it.
You don't like this one.
I hate it.
The study would suggest that 99% of workers like it.
They're all dumb. And it's only 1,000. N equals 1,000. That's not workers. That's like 1,000 people.
How about this? Elon Musk hit by exodus of senior staff over burnout and politics. Key members of Tesla's U.S. sales team, battery and powertrain operations, public affairs arm, chief information officer, core members of the Optimus robot and AI teams all have left. Do you care?
There's only one person at Tesla that matters.
Right. Like, Good Camp's not off to a good start. That made me feel good.
It doesn't make me feel bad. It makes me feel nothing.
I always think this about Meta. We talk about Meta a lot, and because we talk about Instagram, Facebook, we talk about Mark Zuckerberg's empire, and I always just really stupidly say well, people could just delete the apps. Of course, that's not happening. But you know what also could happen? People could stop working for them. Like all the smart people who graduate these smart colleges, you don't have to go to Meta. Like you can just stop. Really, honestly, you can just stop.
You can work at a bagel shop and be more fulfilled than you ever would be at Meta.
But you don't even have to go to a bagel shop. You could take your skill set and go work for your government. I don't know, go work for your county government
anymore.
Or something.
Maybe go work for a different government.
That's true.
And there's no jobs in this government.
Anyway, what do you think about that? Elon, people
I'm going to give it a
Elon.
5. It's I like it because you kind of want this whole thing to collapse and burn at this point, but I also think it's pointless because it's like these people leave and it's not exactly like they can go out and raise $10 billion tomorrow. Elon Musk sneezes and he has $10 billion. It just makes me depressed.
Let's move over to some climate stuff. This is all a headline we see a lot out of the EU. EU reduces GHG emissions by 37%. So they have some pretty aggressive. Yeah.
Can you back up? You said EU reduces, not plans to reduce by 2050.
No, actually reducing. This is part of some of their aggressive goals to reach climate neutrality by 2050. GHG emissions have fallen by 37% since 1990, despite 60% GDP growth over the same period. So the economy is growing,
possible.
But they're still reducing. We're still reducing GHG emissions.
I thought the trade-off was every time you one more carbon molecule gets taken out of the atmosphere, I lose $50. I thought that's the way it worked. Isn't that the I think this is fabulous. I think it's fabulous, and it's stupid that it's even a conversation.
Half of all electricity in the EU now generated by renewables.
I think we are the stupidest country on the face of planet Earth, and every other country is looking at Europe and saying, "Oh, we could do the exact same thing. We'll just dump our shit in the U.S. now."
I would say it's an absolute head scratcher. I was just reading about Mary Barra at GM, basically starting to bail out of the EV goal, all the EV goals.
They're all cowards. Every one of them's a coward.
And we just bought our first EV car last month from Subaru. I gotta tell you, how could you want anything else?
Once you've driven one,
it's like a miracle. It's quiet. It's like it doesn't smell. You don't have to go to the gas station anymore. You don't have to get oil changes. It's just the easiest thing ever. And it's fast. It's zippy. The technology's cool. I don't understand how an American would not want this car.
Because I've got a family of 70. We got the only plug-in hybrid minivan that I drive.
I don't get it.
And when it flips from electric, the first 30 miles are electric, and then it flips to gas if you go more than 30 miles.
Yeah.
When it flips off of electric onto gas, I'm visibly depressed. Yeah, I don't like it.
Mary Barra, I don't get you. Keep at it.
Forget Mary Barra, all of them. Every one of you car manufacturers, everyone who's been we're going to back out of renewables. I don't care what Trump says. Renewables are awesome.
Give me a GHG emissions reduction from the
EU
score. I love
this. It's a 10. I'm glad that somebody's doing something because otherwise, we're grasping at straws here. But I feel like somebody's winning.
And this next headline is not just because I live here, but Maine, the state of Maine wins early victory in climate lawsuit against oil companies. A federal judge has sided with the state of Maine in its effort to force oil and gas companies to pay for the cost of dealing with climate change. So they're allowing this to transfer the case out of federal court and back into state court where it was originally filed, because these cases they go to federal courts and they die. So, and I will say the judge is a woman, Nancy Torreson, and does that make a difference? Maybe actually.
That she was a woman, or that it's
these days it seems to me that women and people of color are the only ones that are routinely fighting back. I mean, that's I don't. Are there men fighting? Well, Gavin Newsom. Should say Gavin Newsom. We did mention him.
This is good.
I mean, the case is not over, but look, it's something. It's
yesterday.
Something.
Yeah, it's
she did reject this notion to go to federal court. At least it gets to be handled in the state of Maine, and that's where the constituents are. And I mean,
I feel like this is the lowest possible bar of a win that we could come up with.
All right, what do you get?
So I'm going to give it a 5. I'm going to give it a 5.
This is an interesting one. Trump's hostile attitude is making investors more favorable to ESG. Trump's hostile attitude to ESG has actually made 20% of private investors more positive about ESG funds.
I mean,
do you care? Come on, just something good there.
I have so many problems with the thing, right? Because we talk about it all the time. ESG is just a data set. It's not.
But it's been politicized. It's been
politicized and turned into an ideology. It wasn't
culture war,
but it was marketed. The reason why it was politicized is because it was marketed as effectively an ideology. It was kind of marketed as we're going to save the world,
which is odd because even the Republicans used to want to. They wanted to deal with the climate. They wanted to clean up the climate. I mean, even the Catholic Church, and they're not exactly Democrats. I mean,
they're not exactly the most liberal cause of the world.
But even that's one of their biggest causes is fighting the climate crisis. So
I'm glad.
It used to be a culture war thing, is what I'm saying.
Simultaneously, all the asset managers have shut down all their ESG or sustainability funds because of the political winds.
They don't want to be
really
sued
what
or
this
something,
shows you, the last three, really if we're doing it, this ESG one and the EU one, is if you just stick with the thing that you know is the right thing to do, or we have this data, it's a good idea to use it, or we can work on saving the planet at the same time we grow our economies. Like, if you just keep working at it rather than fucking kneeling like a coward when the political winds change, or just shifting whatever you do. You have fickle, pointless boards who just do whatever the CEO says. If you stick with it, actually it works. Because ESG is just data, and removing carbon from the atmosphere and or limiting your emissions does not mean you've given up your entire economy. Using renewables, kind of a nice thing, actually. If anything, that's the lesson here. I'm going to give this a 7.
Ooh.
Because I don't not like it, but I
right.
kind of don't care also.
Let's move over to stakeholder stuff. Starbucks. I thought Brian Nickel was turning this company around, but now they're closing a bunch of stores, they're laying off a bunch of people. I guess
that's part of the turnaround.
Part of his turnaround plan. Starbucks is offering up to 26 weeks of severance for store managers at closing cafes. Up to 26 weeks.
That's it?
That's it.
I'm supposed to feel like that's the good headline?
Yeah. No, I need you to parse this for us.
Here's the union came out and said that the closures disproportionately affect unionized stores.
Ugh, is that true?
Yeah, that's what the union came out and said. They said they're targeting the union stores at a higher rate than they're targeting other stores.
Did they say that? Did they give data?
They give some data, but the data I don't have is whether those unionized stores were in, like, they're self-selecting groups, right? Like, maybe a unionized stores happen to be in urban centers where there's a lot of different Starbucks, and they're not like the most profitable ones. Who knows? I don't have any idea.
Right.
But it does strike me that if you wanted to sort of reset the clock and you're Brian Nickel, the easy thing to do would be close a whole bunch of stores, focus the capital on the remaining ones, and make sure most of the stores that get closed are the unionized ones, so you don't have to deal with the union and they have no power. That seems like a win-win for Brian Nickel.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Because often the urban stores are neglected, and because they're so busy and they're so small, and they're not treated very well. They're not very nice. They're not very comfortable. The suburban ones often are much more nice places to hang out. So, yeah, it's kind of they're suffering because they're not being paid attention to. But anyway, what do you think about this? Is this good?
I'm supposed to rate, though, the fact that they're getting 26 weeks of severance.
Up to.
Oh, so that's not guaranteed.
They get 6 weeks of severance plus another week for each year of completed service.
6 weeks of severance plus a week for each year?
Yeah.
So the 26 weeks are for people who have worked there for 20 years?
Yes.
What's that, 6 people?
And you're getting fired like immediately, right? I mean, there's not much.
And if you've worked there for 26 or 20 years,
yeah, you'd think if you'd worked there
have to do to keep your fucking job.
You'd think if you'd worked there for 20 years, and Brian Nichols, he should find a place for you somewhere.
I mean, if you were good enough to manage the store for 20 years, these were not unionized stores, right? So they could fire you for sucking and, being like late one day. There's lots of reasons to fire you. You're getting the axe that you move that person to a different store. Why cut them at all? Offer them.
There'll be fewer stores.
Now I don't like this.
Oh.
I don't like this that
Well, you're
much.
really not going to like it when you hear the next headline. I'm
going to give it a 3. I don't like it that much.
All right, how about this one? And I'm going to ask you to rank. Let's move over to governance stuff. And I'm going to ask you to rank this.
I'm definitely not going to like this.
Here's the question. How good is this headline at telling the CEO pay story? We always wrestle with this. How do we tell the CEO pay story? We have we like to use a lot of populist math. One of the ones that I personally love is in telling the CEO pay ratio story is to tell people when the CEO will make the average worker's
the
pay.
time. Yeah.
Right. And usually it's like 10 in the morning on the first day of the year.
Yeah. And not the first work day, 10 in the morning on January 1st. Yeah.
But I thought this was good. This is out of a Visual Capitalist. The headline is Ranked the Hourly Wage of Retail CEOs. Now, how about this? So we're talking about Starbucks CEO Brian Niccol. He's actually the top paid retail CEO. This is how much money he makes an hour. Is this a good way of telling people how ludicrous this is? He makes $46,058 an hour. $46,000 an hour Brian Niccol makes. An hour.
So
how good is this at telling the CEO pay story? You like this?
What I like about this is we did the same thing. We did it on a show last year, maybe even 2 years ago.
Yeah, populist math.
Where we did some populist math, and we used a 60-hour work week for CEOs, and we worked it down to their hourly wage, and then we worked out the board's hourly wage and showed that board members make as much as named executive officers at companies on an hourly wage basis. A point I made at a conference, and somebody yelled out during the conference that they didn't like that I was doing it. They were like, you have no idea how much work it is. And it's like, okay, great. We're arguing about how much work you do on a board, not actually that you get paid like a CEO for showing up 5 times a year. That means that I love using hourly wages.
How about this?
It's fabulously normalizing.
How about a minute wage? Brian Niccol makes $768 a minute. How about this?
Wow.
By seconds, he makes $13 a second. That might be too much, right?
That's a little too much. I don't want to go down to second.
You know what I hate about this is that, yes, Brian Niccol is just ludicrously overpaid for just selling, dirty brown water drugs. But then I'm looking at McDonald's CEO Chris Kempczinski. He makes only $9,000 an hour. It seems reasonable, right, compared to Brian Niccol's $46,000 an hour, but none of it's reasonable.
Brian Niccol seems unreasonable because he got a golden hello package.
Okay, I don't care.
Built in.
I don't care.
Like right there.
I don't care. That's what he made last year. I don't care.
But like, if you're going to do this calculator right, you actually have to get rid of some of that stuff, and you have to look include it all. Like include all their shareholdings, not just what they made. You have to include it all.
It looks like that on average, the average retail CEO makes about $10,000 an hour. Doug McMillan at Walmart at $13,000. Gap of all things. Gap CEO Richard Dixon makes $9,000 an hour. How the hell is that possible?
I got to be honest.
Gap.
I'm gonna give this a 7. Okay. But I think your metric is better.
Oh,
I think if you can put in how much you make into a calculator and it tells you a list of CEOs based on what time of day on the first day of the year when they make as much as you make for the year, that is way more impactful. Because you'll see, like, okay, Brian Niccol makes as much as you. If you make $46,000 a year, which is like a lot of jobs, like a real huge amount of jobs.
I think the poverty level is like $16,000 a year. It's like 3 times the poverty level.
I mean, that means on January 1st, between midnight and 1 a.m., he's made as much as you, right?
Yeah, like crazy.
That's just that is actually super impactful. So I'll give it a 7. I like it, but I like yours better.
Not only that, but the next part of the story is that let's remember Brian Niccol actually doesn't have to succeed. He doesn't need to succeed at turning around Starbucks.
He gets paid no matter what.
He's just trying. He's just giving it a go.
In fact,
he's like, hey, I think we need better mugs. He's just trying stuff. He's still gonna get paid.
You're covering stuff on the Proxy Countdown that there are a lot of these golden hello packages that are now just time based, right? Like it's just like if you exist at the company for 3 years, you get your pay package.
Well, he could fail after 3 years. If he fails, he'll still going to walk away with like $140 million. It's
the greatest failure you can ever have.
Yeah,
right.
Like, he's just giving it a shot. That's all he's doing. He's like, yeah, I'll try. All right, so you gave that a 7.
I like yours better. I think yours is better.
Okay, how about this one? I want you to answer another curveball here on the good game. September 30th, 2025. How good was Business Pants at predicting this headline? Okay, how good were we at predicting this headline? This is from Bloomberg. Jeff Green. We know Jeff Green, Bloomberg.
Yeah, sure.
White men make a comeback in America's boardrooms.
I like that we're framing it as a comeback.
Yeah, like, well, that I was going to get to that later. Jeff, I will agree that that's ludicrous. But the data would suggest that it's and maybe he's being tongue in cheek. Okay. I have no idea. But over the last year, it is a bit of a comeback. Let me just give you the data. So women won about a third of board seats this past year, 33%, down from a peak of 44% in 2022. Non-white directors, this is the worst one, 20% of new board hires, down from 44% in 2021. So he's saying that 55% of new directors are white men. This is according to ISS. Oh, ISS data. Good for you, ISS.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So you better double check that. Might not be valid.
I wonder if ISS got that from our show, because we've been talking about it for a year and a half, right? Like,
and can I tell you before you rate this, how good were we at predicting this? Here's the horrible part: is one of the main reasons why this is the case, because the article is claiming there's a new again. This seems like an old emphasis, but there is a growing emphasis on appointing CEOs or former CEOs as directors. And as we shout about all the time,
that's never happened before.
There are no female CEOs. So there you go. That's a good way to weed out women. Just only put CEOs on your board.
First of all, rating the headline for how well we predicted this, that's a 100. We predicted this. Not only do we predict it,
I can only
we gave data on this. You coined the term bro IPO or bro PO, which is like companies that are going public, and it's basically all bro teams. And we've been talking about the drop on Proxy Countdown. We talk about the drop from a minimum of 3 women on the board to 2 women on the board. And that's usually done through expanding the board or somebody retiring and just not adding a woman. That's like how you get rid of, dilute women on the board. But when it comes to the content of the story, Jeff, we're going to write a story. We're going to call it the comeback.
Okay. It might be tongue in cheek.
I don't think it is. I think it's like, I think what it was referring to is contextually,
maybe
white
not,
men
actually.
owned all the positions, and it started to be like a little more egalitarian. You started to add more people, and the comeback is they're going back to owning all the positions.
Jeff, I beg you to
They never lost all the positions. They still had them all.
And Jeff, I beg you to adopt our gender influence gap at freeflowanalytics.com, because just counting numbers on boards does not paint the picture, Jeff. You have to look at who has leadership, who has actual influence in the boardrooms. It's not just about bodies.
It's not a genital count. It's a leadership count.
But I want to point something else out too about and this is very 2025, and I'm referring to the fact that they're creating this emphasis on appointing CEOs to the boards, which means only men, right? There was an article just today about Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. He's got Hegseth, whatever his name is. He got some new stupid meeting with all the leaders of the military. Okay, it's the same thing. It's the exact same methodology. Listen to this. He outlined new rules for the, quote, highest male standard for fitness in combat roles. And then he said, if that means no women qualify for some combat jobs, so be it. It's the same thing.
Yeah, that's what we're doing.
You move the bar, right? You redefine the meritocracy to mean only male things, and that way you can hire your buddies back.
Ladies, I want to address you directly, because I think you're smarter, you're more qualified, and you work harder, and you are always better prepared on average than any of your male counterparts.
Except for me.
And the fact is, none of that fucking matters. It's time to get aggressive. Forget an era where you could out-merit your way. You were always held to a higher standard than your male counterparts. I know this as a white man. I've gotten jobs I have no business getting the job. And
what job?
Thrive. I mean, I was an analyst at MSCI for almost 10 years.
True.
My background in analysis was I made Dungeons and Dragons spreadsheets when I was a kid.
But that was a lot of the early ESG hires, was it not?
I'm just saying. I was a musician by trade, right?
Yeah.
Like I was a musician. I'm not saying that like I am woefully unqualified to do anything. I'm just saying that I would be sitting in a room with like executives from Goldman Sachs telling them about ESG data, and I was probably
but their CEO is a DJ. Their CEO is a DJ.
This is true. My point here is the time when you could just you had to like get to some golden bar above everybody else and be perfect, and you could finally get into that, the big room where the boys all play, and get your shot. That time is already over. It's already dead. And it's time to start fucking fighting instead of hoping someone will tap you on the shoulder and let you in the room. It's time to do your own thing. Start all your own companies.
You're not like that.
You're not going to be made a CEO at your corporate job. Fuck your corporate job. Make your husband go, work 9 to 5 and bring in some money while you start something meaningful. Make your husband fold the fucking laundry.
Look at you.
I know I do it.
Look at you being heterocentric.
All I'm saying is,
right, come on.
It's time to fight. And like invest in companies where women lead the company. Stop investing in companies that have like, all bros running it.
Absolutely. Or just delete the apps. Delete the apps.
Delete
your Zuck. Anything that Larry Ellison owns, that Zuckerberg owns, Elon Musk, all the dudes, just delete it. All right.
Delete bro apps. Axe bro companies from your portfolio. Find female.
You can't do
companies.
It. You're allowed to do it. I have two more before we get to our speed round. Both, speaking of women, both from Qantas. We covered Qantas in great detail in the past because their CEO, Vanessa Hudson, she took over a shit show and she had to start apologizing immediately.
The first thing she did was say, "I'm sorry for everything that's happened ever."
But rate these two governance moves. The first one, Qantas cutting CEO pay signals new era of cyber accountability. So the board of Qantas voted to penalize CEO Vanessa Hudson and other top executives for a June 30th cyber incident that exposed, passenger information. They fined them a total of about $500,000 from their bonuses. But hey, it sounds low, but still, they're actually, it's something, right? How about this? The last time a board withheld compensation from a CEO for a cybersecurity breach was another woman. It was Yahoo's board against CEO Marissa Mayer. That's not a coincidence. That couldn't be a coincidence.
Not only is it not
the only two times it was women.
The Qantas CEO, Vanessa Hudson, is only CEO because she had to clean up a boys' mess who came before. Remember Richard Goiter and who was the chair of the board and who was the CEO there? That they fucking basically took money from the customers. They mishandled everything. They both resigned in disgrace, and they handed the company over to a woman for the first time in order to clean it up.
Alan Joyce.
And 12 seconds later, they're cutting the woman's pay because for shit that no man has ever seen their pay cut for. I mean, the largest data breaches, right? Are what? The Sony data breach. Didn't Sony have a breach of 100 million customers or something like that? Facebook had a 500 million person data breach. Has Zuckerberg ever lost a second of pay? Ticketmaster. They had 560 million people lost their data at Ticketmaster. You think anybody ever lost pay? No. We're cutting Qantas Airlines Vanessa Hudson's
then this is good.
pay.
But still, as a governance move, this is good, no? Right? Holding the executives accountable?
I care about level playing field. I don't care if everyone's a dictator, great, fine. At least it's a level playing field for dictators. But this is not level playing field. We're holding her individually. This board is holding her individually to a standard it would not hold anyone else to.
Well, I will say the shareholders, investors, they can hold every pay package accountable that doesn't have this as part of the pay plan. Right? I mean, this can be built into all pay plans.
I mean, it arguably should be, and not just this, right? Shouldn't it be like there's a lot of things we should hold in put in these pay plans. And these directors, I mean, one of the directors, Nora Scheinkestel, is on the board of Westpac Banking Corporation, Brambles, Origin Energy. You're saying they've never had a data breach at other boards that you've been on? Never?
Okay, but did
you cut their pay?
I see what you're fixated on here, but I want you to rate, is this good? Is this a good governance practice? I mean, you're allowed to rate this headline any way you want, but I was just looking at the governance practice. What do you think?
I can't
take it as you want. Take it as you want.
Rate the governance practice of. I have a really hard time rating this.
Come on, do your best.
Especially since this is a board
the audience needs it.
The audience can wait for me to think through whether or not this matters at all. Two of the board members sit on the same fucking board. Who are these people? Like, what's their? I'm gonna give this a 5.
Oh,
I would give it a 0. I want to
Yeah.
give it a 0, but you're trying to talk me into something higher on purely the governance aspect of it, and I'm going to give it a 0.
Then I'm guessing
5.
you're gonna hate the next Qantas headline. Because, again, you're going to focus on the fact that it's a woman, which maybe you should. And you're also going to think a lot about Qantas. I was thinking of it more of this should be a universal thing that all companies adopt. The headline is Qantas tightens reputation metrics after increasing CEO salary. Again, she's taking the fall for the people before her. But I'm just looking at the governance practice. 20% of the long-term bonus will be based on Qantas's reputation, which is measured externally on a scale between 0 and 100. I love the idea of actually holding CEOs accountable for stuff, for things, for real life things, right? All the pay just can't be guaranteed.
Come on.
I mean, we're seeing that CEOs still get a significant portion of their equity, even if they underperform their peers in TSR. So. I'm looking at this. I know you're already skeptical about this one.
I mean, look, if you are
Poor Vanessa.
in the Australian market and you know these Australian companies, I want you to look up on freeflowanalytics.com, our sponsor, click through every single director's name, and just when you click their name,
Qantas?
For the Qantas directors, when you click their name, you can click on a year and it shows you what boards they were on in that year. And that includes people like John Patrick Mullen, who's on the Treasury Wine Estates board, right? Like, who's on the board somehow of an airline because he's qualified for that.
He's on 4 boards. He seems busy.
He's on Brambles Limited with Nora Scheinkestel, who's also on the same board, right? Like, so these board members all hang out. It's super insular in Australia. When you look at the networks of boards in Australia, they all basically know each other. And ask yourself, when John Patrick Mullen is going to the Brambles Limited boardroom, is he holding that CEO to the same standard? And that CEO happens to be a male named Graham Chipcase. Is he holding him to the same standard as he just held Vanessa Hudson of the Qantas board, who inherited a company that was fundamentally destroyed by a bunch of boys who made it their plaything and paid themselves a lot of money to do it?
We don't spend a lot of time talking about the Australian market, but so I don't know how unusual this is, but I gotta say, John Patrick Mullen, he has on 4 different boards with at least 10% influence at each, which I don't see very often. I don't know if I've ever seen that, to be honest. This is one busy dude. How does you think he can keep any of this straight from one board meeting to the next? I mean, how does he know? How does he even know what's going on?
This is another one where you put me in a tough place because I agree with you philosophically that the idea of how people perceive your company should actually matter to how you get paid. You shouldn't just get paid if everyone hates you.
There should be ways of all the pay packages basically seem like guaranteed pay to me now. There should be ways of actually deducting your final amount.
And yet, our case study is one woman who came in to clean up one of the worst companies in Australia.
Who's even now can lose money
Based
on them adding a reputation factor because the former male CEO sucks so much.
You know, I don't know. Is there now it's 20% of our long-term bonus between 2026 and 2028 will be based on the reputation.
Yeah, I like that. What do you think? Give me a score.
I hate this. I hate it, but I can't give it a 0 because I know what you're doing. I know you're tricking me.
It's up to you. It's up to you.
A 5.
No,
it's a 5. I'm doing the same thing. It's a 0.
You're here to teach the audience. You're here to teach the audience.
If this was Mark Zuckerberg's pay, will be permanently, tied to whether people think he's a douchey, creepy college.
But he doesn't even need pay. He doesn't even need pay. He should be paying. He should be
feel different.
Paying the shareholders every year. Okay, let's end with a speed round. I got 5 quick headlines for the good game. Gold miner Newmont names Natasha Vioen its first female CEO. Can we celebrate new female CEOs? Are we allowed to? Do you want to? Is this good? You don't know anything about her.
Well, what I know is that the CEO.
She might be a puppy killer. We don't know.
I know the CEO retired and gold is up. So what I know about this is she's not inheriting a wasteland of a company that is underwater.
That's
from
true.
Always breaking things. So I'm going to give it a 10.
Okay. Oh, I like that. And should that be a data point too, whether the CEO is a puppy killer or not? We could put that in the proxy statement, right?
I think it should be. Yeah. Yeah.
Next speed round headline. Why Lyft CEO David Risher still drives customers once a month. You think that's good, him driving customers once a month like that?
Is that like when Laxman went and served a coffee once?
Do you want the CEO of Lyft picking you up in like a 1997 Bronco?
I have to. Your parents were teachers, right? My mom
teacher and librarian. Yeah.
My mom was a high school teacher, and she used to always say all the time that the administration, if they didn't,
they don't know how to teach. They don't know how to teach.
They should actually be forced to teach.
I agree. My mom said the same stuff all the time. Yeah.
The teachers.
And what's worse is that they would come into her classroom and they would sit in the back and stare at everybody and make everyone uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's way worse because it's like then they're actually disrupting the class. They make it.
And
worse.
what are they even evaluating if they don't know how to teach? How do they even figure it out?
Whether or not the kids sit down long enough. I'm going to give it a 6 because because of my mom, but I'm skeptical that it's actually good.
Costco CFO promises the hot dog and drink combo will never cost more than $1.50.
I think it should cost more than $1.50.
Isn't that a weird part of Costco? Is this stupid hot dog and Coke thing they have going?
I mean,
$1.50. I gotta tell you, I've mentioned on the show before that I have happily switched from Target to Costco. But the one thing I don't like about Costco is every time I glance over to the food court area, people look very unhealthy.
Well, they're eating $1.50 with a hot dog and Coke.
The people on the normal shelves look good. They're buying like flax seeds and like almonds. But there's a bunch of people like shoving down pizza slices and hot dogs. And why I love the fact that they're cheap. Should food that's that bad for you be that cheap? It kind of concerns me. Like where's the fresh, like, shouldn't there be like roasted red peppers over there? Why is it hot dogs?
I have to give it a little bit of credit because, like, the quotes in the article are about how the $1.50 price is sacrosanct.
Okay.
Like, that seems a bit extreme.
Sure.
Like sacrosanct?
Okay.
But the Costco board member also came out, when Trump was all anti-DEI and made the case that diversity is sacrosanct at Costco. Effectively, he said, you're an idiot if you're not doing it.
Hot dogs and
that
DEI.
They stand for a thing, and they're the one company who fought back. I'm going to give it. I'm going to give it a 10. I'm going to give it a 10.
In that respect,
I don't even eat hot dogs.
When I think of it that way, that they stand by DEI and hot dogs actually makes them pretty great.
It makes it a win-win. I'm going to go to Costco today and just buy something, not a hot dog.
All right, in light of that last headline, how great is this headline? 58 million pounds of corn dogs and sausages may contain something you really don't want to eat. That's the headline.
Am I just reading the headline?
Yeah. How good of a headline is that? 58 million pounds. First of all, people still eat corn dogs? Is that possible? 58 million pounds of corn dogs and sausages may contain something you really don't want to eat. I don't even know what the thing is. Could be anything.
That's
It
my
could be like an
problem.
old lunchbox. Like I don't know
That's
what
my
is
problem
it.
with the headline. My problem with the headline is you have to click it to find out what the thing that you don't want to eat
Like a fence
is.
post? Like what is that? I don't even know
It
what that is.
turns out it is the United States Agriculture, Food Safety, whatever. Which who's running that now?
Yeah, who is running that? Like a 17-year-old, like from
isn't that a Doge employee running that? And
like a former beauty queen.
they put out a statement that
yeah.
said it may be contaminated with extraneous material,
Which means what?
specifically pieces of wood embedded in the batter.
Oh, I was right. I said a fence post. I was right.
So you won. You get a splinter by eating a corn dog.
How good is that
give
headline?
that a 10 because
Ooh.
you shouldn't eat corn dogs. I
might
think it
be
should all contain extraneous material.
I might be rigging this game a bit because your scores might be elevated. Let's end the good game for September 30th and 2025 on this headline. I don't know how you're going to take this, but I know you kind of hate all of this, so I just wanted to hear your reaction. Is this good? Should we be praising United maybe? A United flight from Paris to D.C. had to U-turn to avoid flying across the Atlantic without enough working bathrooms.
0. Don't get on the plane
I
at
ruined my
all.
scores.
Don't get on the plane. What are you doing? There's
But
no
good
need
for
you
them,
to go
though,
anywhere.
to not make their passengers suffer, right? They just said, like, no, we better go back home.
You've been in an airplane bathroom, haven't you? You're already
Actually,
suffering going to the bathroom.
I don't eat very much or drink very much on airplanes to avoid the bathrooms. I never eat before the flights.
I know because it's horrible. Like,
Yeah.
and when you have 3 kids and your wife insists on flying all over the place, and you want to just stay home, and I'm the one who takes the kids into the bathroom, I'm like holding them 6 feet in the air and trying to aim because
I also got to say that one thing I've noticed that I don't fly domestically anymore. Not because I'm a snob or anything. I just don't see that. I just don't want to. I'm afraid to go anywhere but New England. I'm just being
There's no
honest with
point.
you.
I'm just
But when
get
I-
on a train.
But when I have flown to Europe recently, the one thing that always stands out to me is Americans' digestion and their eating habits are horrible. I mean, they eat the meal and they immediately get up to use the bathroom. They line up to use the bathroom. What is going on with Americans' digestive tracts?
Well, maybe they just
Disgusting.
lack fiber, and airplane
Disgusting.
food has a lot of fiber.
I'm worried for them. Give me so that's a 0.
That's a 0. That's a 0.
Well, you were at risk. Before that 0, you were a 7. You were at a 6.8. You were at risk for breaking your streak, but that 0 brought you back down to a 6.4. Here are your last 4 scores for the good game. 6.4, 6.4, 6.3, 6.3. You are weirdly, remarkably consistent. I don't know how that works. How is that possible?
I don't know. You pick the headlines. And
No, I know, but it's strange. I gotta say, it's strange. It's
I
really
only have
weird.
one mood. Very
I picked the
slightly
headlines,
snarky,
but I had
optimistic.
2 Qantas headlines in there. We can't predict based on
Well,
Qantas
I had to do
headlines.
5s for them. I would have. You actually.
I
would have
thought
had
you were gonna like
3.
those.
I would have given them 0s otherwise. That's the show. That's Hazelnut Rollis. I'm Aaron Sol, Matt Mascardi. We are Free Float. We got a show coming up. We're gonna do a Friday show. This week. No Proxy Countdown this week. We're doing bi-weekly until the season picks up in the U.S. But we're talking about ways to like cut the universe and think about like what companies to cover. If you have a company you want to hear covered on the Proxy Countdown, these are companies that we analyze. We look at how you should vote your proxy. We already did Tesla. There's a free report out in social media. You can get it. Hit us. Let us know what company you want us to cover. We will look at it. We will cover it. We will talk about it. There's a shareholder primacy podcast coming out tomorrow.
Yes.
They're talking about advance notice bylaws and I think they did some of that last week. They're talking about some crazy stuff that actually matters, like because no one cares about
Unlike
a
this
bylaw
show.
until it matters.
Yeah.
It's a great show. Until then, good.